Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hi everybody, and where exactly in Nigeria are you?
Kaduna State. Kaduna State.
Okay, amazing. And how many students are there?
About 15 to 20. About 15.
15 to 20. Okay, yeah. Yeah. The way I usually like to do these things is not even necessarily like lecturing at you. I just like to talk with, like, get questions from students, get their interests, and sort of chat through them. But I can start out with a brief introduction just so people um, understand what I do, and what I've done, and my interest in the space. Yeah, my name is Marcelo HD. I currently work at BBDO New York, which is a creative agency that does branded work. My title there is interactive producer, and the focus that I have there is on augmented reality experiences for brands. Currently, we do branded work for brands like Meta, Mars, which is the parent company for M&M's. Who else do we do? Like Home Depot, Picard. A lot of big brands, and my role is to bring these brands into new technology spaces and to engage with customers and people in new, creative, and innovative ways. I am a producer, so I'm not necessarily a developer myself. I look at things from sort of a business angle, trying to crack the code of augmented reality experiences and how we create businesses around them and monetize them, um, and how we can create a whole ecosystem and create a whole community around them, so that uh, you know my goal at the end of the day is so that people of color, um, actually use this technology for their benefit, so that there's something in it for them, so that there's more equity for them. Um, that's that's my background in the space. I came from a background in music. I co-founded a nonprofit called No Label back in the day, where we used hip hop and popular culture to make education more accessible. What that means is using uh, doing master classes with rappers and hip hop artists to make different educational components less high academic words and more regular speak kind of words, the so that different educational platforms, different knowledge is accessible to the masses. So we did events with people like Travis Scott and Bad Bunny on uh, on creativity, activism, and that was kind of uh, my introduction to the music business, how I got my name there. I did a lot of audio production work as well, and I had an opportunity to use my audio background to create interactive audio experiences for Google Assistant and Alexa devices, like choose your own adventure experiences and 3D immersive audio podcasts with 3D sound design. At this one interactive, immersive production company run by this director, Doug Liman. The company's name's 30 Ninjas, and Doug Liman did films like Born Identity, Mrs. Smith, Edge of Tomorrow. And it was about getting actors into quote unquote metaverse experiences, immersive experiences. And I was on the producer team there. So I've had a few different experiences across the immersive interactive space. While I was at 30 Ninjas doing my audio work, I also learned about the XR space. So that's how I got that skill set. So that's my background. I guess we can kick it off with questions from the students. What what are what are the burning questions that different people have?
Okay, great. So yeah, right. It's great to hear your background, right? I believe that it's pretty amazing, right? And looking at how you moved from the music industry, seeing how
Yeah,
you could use music to help in the education space, right? Because retention, right, is solely based on experience, right? It's based on
yeah,
how well you can make people experience this thing, right? How much you can bring it down to their level, right, that they can relate to, right? So I think even the
yeah,
word there is
exactly.
relatability, right? So
Yeah, relatability.
if there's increased relatability, there would be high retention, right? And I think that's one of the things
Exactly.
also that the metaverse seeks to really solve, right? The more
Yep.
immersive experience you have, the more retention you have, right? Things could easily get complicated when you don't relate to it or when you don't have an immersive experience, right? So yeah, right. It's really great to see that you moved from the music industry and how that from your part, right? It looks like you're from the you're playing more in the production level, right? If I'm correct.
Exactly.
Exactly, exactly.
Exactly.
I think one of the questions before the participant begins to ask, one of the questions they might be interested in is in asking like, what's the process like for you as a like someone who is in the music space, right? How was it like the transitioning, right? Was it that easy to transition
hmm
into the metaverse space into XR? How did you find it? Like, what's this transition like?
Mm. The transition was pretty seamless for me. I've always been excited about innovative experiences. That's why I made that transition. The music space, at least in the US, is very felt a little bit stale for me. A lot of people doing the same kind of music, uh, same sounding kind of music, a lot of the same releases. And I thought to myself, what's a skill set that I want to get just in any kind of creative space so that I can um, help uh, Black culture uh, like as best as I can. And this opportunity to work at Doug Lyman's production company with XR and storytelling came up, and I said, this is a skill set, producing XR, new media, interactive production. Uh, this is a skill set that I can get that I know that I can use to contribute back to Black culture in a meaningful way, um, and it's a skill set I can use to be uh, very unique and make my own mark, um, and have my own edge and knowledge base that not many other people have. So because I approached it with that mindset, I I I was able to really have motivation to go learn the like learn the business of what all the different players are in the XR space. But then also learn technical things. Like I taught myself Unity just by looking at videos online. And because I had that motivation um, of just learning as much as I can, uh, I think that allowed the transition to be as easy as possible. I think that's with anything. If you're able to find a way to motivate yourself, um, uh, to learn something, like that's super powerful and will allow you to do anything in any space.
All right. All right. That's really beautiful. You know, earlier today, I was speaking, the CEO was speaking with some of our students, right? Some of the participants we had for another program that we are running, web development program. And one of the things he was really emphatic about was internal motivation, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're not internally driven to get a result that you want, right? You would
Mm-hmm.
rarely would you be able to be successful in that endeavor, right? So the more internally driven or motivated that you are, right, you are able to, you know, surmount whatever challenges you face whilst you're trying to, you know, become what you want to become, either getting more experience in the XR space or in the development or backend or
Mm-hmm.
wherever tech space, right, you want to embark on, right? So internal motivation is really key in terms of transitioning, right? Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something that really works, and it's a really um, great way to go about things, right? Yeah. So the participants don't have a question yet, but they are, as they're listening, they're thinking around questions that they might want to ask you, right?
Okay.
But let me engage you with this, right? So the question I would want to ask, right? So what tools do you use, right?
Mm-hmm.
In what tools do you particularly use to contribute, right, in the metaverse space?
Got it. A few different things. And this is how you know it's a burgeoning industry, because some people use the term metaverse, like the company Meta. Some people, some companies like Apple, don't even use the term. They think the term is confusing. Before I answer that question, I think it's important for students to know that like who your audience is important when you discuss these technologies. Some people will not quite understand what the metaverse is, but they'll understand what a augmented reality filter is. And it's a lot of similar technology that is happening. Um, I I have been working a lot in the XR space for my job, for filters specifically. So what that means is I've been, scoping, creating experiences for brands with Instagram filters, snap lenses, um, looking at TikTok filters as well. uh, for my job at BBDO with big brands, it's looking at getting to the biggest masses as possible. So it's looking at getting on those social platforms, um, uh, and um, that's that's where that's where that's where we're looking. That's the technologies that we tend to use the most. But in my previous job, there was a lot of work in Unity. Um, but a lot of people are using Unreal as well. They're all different kinds of software, and it's good to like keep up to date as well because there's so much stuff that's always changing with the different software.
All right. Right. That really sounds great. And, from what you said, right, about the fact that understanding the audience, right, we know that, in this space, right, in this continent, what most people have been able to relate with so far is augmented reality
Mm-hmm.
because is
Mm-hmm.
almost every day out of 20 people, you would see 15 or 16 people use filters,
Mm-hmm.
right? AR filters, either generally use filters, right? You see out of 20 people, definitely you would see 10 to 15 people use filters, right? And most people don't even understand or don't know it to be augmented reality, right? But that's because there's that level of relatability, right? And one of the things that we seek to do with this boot camp is to see that we have, like I said before, have more creators, more people creating filters that are also relatable in Africa, right? That tells the
Mm-hmm.
true African story, right? How that we have more people in Africa creating filters for Africans by Africans, and also even in the global space, right? Are being able to use, right? And also building spaces, right? For one of the things we're also getting our participants to know, getting them to know is that the world of internet is moving into an immersive experience, right? And it simply means
Mm-hmm.
that we must be able to not just catch up, we must be able to we must be part of people that would create that space, create that level of immersiveness, right? In terms of education, in terms of marketing, e-commerce experience, how the fact that in some site, right? I think Swift XR just had this partnership with Wix, where they are able
Mm-hmm.
to buyers are able to have like an augmented reality of the product that they want to get. And this is like the future of e-commerce, right? How that you're able
It is.
to
Yep.
purchase an item, and before you purchase it, you're able to see how it's going to look like in your room, or you want to buy a ring and you're able to see how it fits in your hand before buying it, because it's an exciting experience, right? So one of the things I would want to ask right now is, what would be like your comment or your encouragement for people would think that it's the XR space is too sophisticated, and they feel like it's too sophisticated and they can't engage. What would be your advice to them?
Mm. Which kind of people? Like, are you saying students?
Yeah, so like
Um,
students, young people, right? Young people.
yeah, who think it's too sophisticated? Like too much work, or like it's too hard to learn.
Exactly.
Is that the question?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I would say that um, it's figuring out like a vision of what you'd want to do in the space. And if you lock in on that vision, then you'll be motivated to the learn the tools. But if it's just something that you just think of as like an interest, maybe this space isn't for you, because there is a lot of complexity that goes into it. I would say if you're if if you're a student who be in a space that's burgeoning and getting early, this is the perfect space to become involved in. Um, it's it's new. There hasn't really been a way people have figured out to monetize in it, and you can be part of the solution and really innovate. Um, and there there are different ways and different roles that you can play in the space. Like I'm a producer, but I also have like some technological background and knowledge. Other people, are developers. Other people do 3D art. Other people do. Sorry, one second. My headphones just went out. Other people do like some people create 3D art all day, and some people do characters, and some people do environment. If you want to get in the space, I think it's first finding your role and or finding a role and starting somewhere and getting good at one specific thing. Um, and then once you've mastered that, um, and you feel comfortable with that, you can start developing other skills in the space. Um, it ends up being a little bit hard to do kind of everything in the space, like like developing and doing 3D art as well, and then producing at the same time. It's hard to do everything at once. I think when you're starting out, it's good to start small and do baby steps.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Marcelo. One of the things that really excite me about everything happening now is that the fact that the participants are currently they're working on the presentation, they're developing stuff, right, which would be presented on Monday. I think the minds are really engaged on it because we're expecting them to come up with something, to build and develop something, either AR filters or building a space, and telling us
Mm-hmm.
their process around it, right? And we're expecting them to deliver this by Monday, where we get to evaluate their process and their task and see the genuity their in their result, right? So yeah, right. I want to say that one of the things that will happen is that I'm going to also share maybe like the results that they're able to come up with you, and they'll see how to connect also with you on LinkedIn. And
Yep.
yeah, right. I want to say that this session has also been really informative, understanding your background, seeing how you get to play in the XR space, and also right, like your
Mm-hmm.
encouragement. Baby steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called compound effect, right? At the end of the day,
Yep.
you're able to grow beyond what you've calculated, right? Beyond what you've imagined, right? So yeah, we're really excited about what you said, and the participants will do well to connect with you on LinkedIn, and also if they have other questions whilst they are building or seeing how they can how they can really expand in this space, right, or really navigate their way around the space, right, they will do well to reach
Mm-hmm.
out, and they will do well to reach out and ask more questions, right? So yeah, and like I said, I would also share with you some of like what they had to come up with next week
Yeah,
Monday.
amazing.
Yes, yes, because there'll be a winning team next week Monday.
Okay,
Yes,
amazing.
yes. So and we would be having more boot camps as this year. And one of the things we're looking at is that once we have boot camps for each quarter, at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
year, right, we'd have like a showcase, right? It just makes sense to have a showcase at the last quarter when you spend time developing and building people in this space, and at the last quarter of the year, see what they're able to come up with and able to work around with through
Mm-hmm.
the year, right? So yeah, thank you very much, Marcelo.
Amazing. Yeah. If any of the students have any questions or want to reach out, feel free to write me on LinkedIn.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Marcelo. It's been
Yeah.
great
Thank you.
communicating with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much. Yeah,
Yeah. Good to meet.
yeah.